Hello everyone, welcome. Rabbi Abe here with a video that we're going to discuss the truth about the sin of Adam. What was the sin of Adam? I mean, is it really about eating an apple from the tree of knowledge of good and evil? I mean, and for that reason, we're all here, in this world of chaos and confusion. Well, listen to the end. I think you're going to be surprised. In fact, nowhere is there mentioned anything about apples. Not at all. Grapes, perhaps. In fact, the Zohar does speak about grapes. We'll get there. So let's begin. So let's first understand, what is the purpose of understanding this concept of sin of Adam? So right off the bat, we have to say that anything and everything is layered in secrets. If it's from the Bible, if it's from the Torah, then it's layers and layers of secrets. Now, within these secrets, our lives can become better once we begin to understand them. And, one may ask the question, well, why does everything have to be so confusing? Why does it have to be a secret? Well, there's a rule. It's a cosmic rule. In order for light to be revealed, it first must be concealed. So in order for there to be some kind of an awakening of any kind of awakening of new information, awakening of secrets, as we're doing here, revelation, there first has to be a concealment. Only then we can be able to internalize, appreciate, utilize that which lies underneath. It's like, us, we can't walk around naked. The naked truth, very difficult. It needs to be dressed first. Just like we need to be dressed to function in this world, but then, under certain circumstances, we reveal ourselves. So, okay, with that in mind, there's more to that discussion, obviously. Let's talk about it. So how does this idea of sin of Adam relate to us every day? What is it? Let's talk about Adam first. So the first place where we're going to go is actually the books of the Zohar. And the writing of the Zohar says, I have several books over here. If you have the old Zohar, it's page 36, paragraph subheading 71. If you have the more popular printing, it's page 335 in the Hebrew or Aramaic edition, and paragraph 450. ותיקח מפריו, התננן סחטה ענבים, ויאבת לי, וגרמהו מותה לכל עלמא. What is it saying? Shocking. That Eve חווה סחטה ענבים ונתנה לו לאדם. What Eve did, Eve squeezed grapes. She squeezed grapes and she gave it to Adam. She squeezed grapes and she gave it to Adam. ובאכילתם גרמו מוות לכל העולם. Very strange. And when they ate from it, now it says she squeezed grapes, but when they ate from it, two different ideas here, it caused death to fall upon the whole world. What the heck does that mean? I mean, can you imagine just from eating grapes? Squeezing grapes? What does that mean? Everyone who drinks grape juice or wine, because it's really speaking about wine, why is that so bad? Why is that so bad? I mean, there were others who drank wine. Noah drank wine, we know that. He had his own vineyard, in fact. Okay, what does it have to do with anything? Now, first off, So I don't know where this idea of apples came from. You know, apple. We know there were trees. At least, again, the Bible, in its coded way, speaks about two trees, which I'm sure we're all familiar with. The tree of knowledge of good and evil, and the tree of life. Two different realms, two different dimensions. According to Kabbalah, the tree of life was that a level of reality in which there is only good. In which there's only good. In other words, it's a force that connects to the endless force or consciousness of the Creator's light that causes eternity. Again, it causes eternity. The tree of knowledge of good and evil is another side of the consciousness. It represents what? There's good, or what is interpreted as good, and then there's bad, what is interpreted as bad. Meaning good or eternity is concealed in that level. We don't understand its existence. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but the tree of knowledge of good and evil in which we live in that consciousness until today, that means it's a world of death. Why? Because there's death here. This is where it begins. We have death in our mind. Because in our mind, we think things end. We don't understand that the reality of the universe is an endless force of good, and therefore we are unable to connect with it on an eternal basis, at least not yet. So we connect to fragmented good. It's fragmented. Things can be good, everything's going well, and then things can take a dive. So we say, oh, this was good, now this is bad, okay? In anything. When good is concealed, bad things happen. When good is concealed, we get depressed. When good is concealed, we lose money. When good is concealed, again, it means good is being concealed in that moment. It doesn't mean it went away. In the physical, illusionary level, it appears that we are not enjoying the beneficence of that thing any longer. So we think it's no more. That's wrong. It's not true that it's not more. It becomes concealed for some reason. I can't go into it right now. That would be another 3 lectures. But it becomes concealed for our benefit ultimately. Ultimately, the hint is to increase the size of our spiritual vessel so that we can have more. But in the moment that we react to it as though we believe in it, we believe in the bad, we believe in it, because again, we have a hard time understanding that the endless force of creation is still there. Very difficult for us to be able to, be there and be experiencing a problem at the same time. Very difficult. This is what spiritual work is about. But since we acknowledge that, the lack as being reality, that's what plays out. Very important. So, again, it's not about positive thinking. It's about understanding the reality of the universe. Positive thinking is a lower level. And I'm not saying that doesn't help. That's great. But understanding the reality of the universe is the ultimate consciousness, if we can get there. It takes a lot of practice. It takes spiritual tools. So what do the Kabbalists explain about this sin of Adam in reality? Because this idea of grapes, you see, by no coincidence, the grapes are used for spiritual connections. So think about it. With grapes, we make wine. With wine, we use for all different types of rituals. In all different types of teachings. In different religions, wine is used as a spiritual tool for elevation for spiritual purpose. Now, by no coincidence also that when we drink wine, we also become elevated. However we understand that, and we do. According to the Kabbalah, when we drink wine, we draw a very high light. It's called the light of wisdom. Light of wisdom. In fact, when we are drinking that wine, the reason why we can become drunk, and that is because we are drawing directly that light of wisdom. Now, that light of wisdom cannot really be harnessed by us alone, on its own. We need to have a place for that. That means if it's used in a spiritual connection, the spiritual connection is the place to put it. That enables us to use it in a positive way. And therefore, it's not, getting drunk just for the sake of getting drunk creates negativity. But using the wine for spiritual connections, even if we feel happy, no problem. Why? Because the connection itself is assisting us. That we call it a vessel. We have a vessel and we elevate that, and it elevates us together with the spiritual connection. Obviously not to excess, because if we abuse it, even we can abuse spiritual connections as well. But again, if it's used as a spiritual tool, fine, great. If it's used and abused, that wine means we've drawn energy that we can't really harness, because the rule is we are unable to use straight light in this world. It's called Or Yashar, straight light. We can't use it. It's not possible for us to use it. There always needs to be a vessel, and the vessel for this light of wisdom, straight light, is some form of sharing a vessel that must be created, however that's done. So this idea of that they squeeze grapes, that they use grapes, is not now out of the realm of understanding, because it's really representing a consciousness, not about the grapes, because every word in the Zohar, remember, is also not meant to be taken literally. There are levels of secrets upon secrets in the Zohar as well. So it's not necessarily meant for us to understand that this was the sin. What do you mean? This is the sin and brought death on the world? No. But first off, we have to understand that Adam and Eve, both of these concepts, spiritual principles, that's what they are, included all the souls of humanity in potential, all within Adam and Eve. All the sparks of all the souls that would ever be were within this Adam and Eve. And so each one of us participated in what is called this sin. Well, what was this sin? What is this sin? It was a sin, first off, the primary, the 99% of that sin, it was a sin of consciousness, the sin of consciousness. And we don't want to talk too much about the physical aspect, because, it's written actually among the Kabbalists that Adam becomes embarrassed if we talk too much about the physical sin, which was a sexual one. And it's not about Adam and Eve having a relationship with each other. They were supposed to do that, of course, no problem. But it was really about the timing, and we won't go into the details of that. It's less important than understanding the 99% of the consciousness of what this sin of Adam was. So I'm going to read from you, from the Kabbalists, from the writings of Rabbi Isaac Luria, the Arizal, he is known as, and from the introduction of those writings from Rabbi Chaim Vital. And I'm in this printing, if you're familiar with it. If not, that's okay. It's a page 9, second paragraph on page 9. I'm going to read and I will translate. There's power in the words, so pay attention, please. הנה נתבאר, it is explained in this area, כי עוון אדם הראשון בעץ הדעת טוב ורע הוא שלא בחר להתעסק בעץ החיים, שהיא חוכמת הקבלה. It's very shocking. What Rabbi Chaim Vital says is extremely shocking, surprising. He says, the Kabbalists explain here that the sin of Adam, the first man, in the tree of knowledge of good and evil, is that he did not choose to be connected to the tree of life. He didn't choose to be connected to the tree of life, which means what? We know they chose the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and they did not choose the tree of life. In fact, after they partook from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they were sent out, so they shouldn't connect to that eternal force or not. And this is what the Bible says, that good and evil would become the reality. It's not the reality, but the reality would become concealed for a few, not for the masses. The masses would need to do certain work to reconnect with the tree of life. But we would have to work through the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So what does it mean? This is the wisdom of Kabbalah, he says. Adam did not choose to be connected with the tree of life, which is the knowledge of Kabbalah, the wisdom of Kabbalah. What does it mean? וזהו עצמו עוון הערב רב. And this is the same sin, the same negativity that was created by the mixed multitude. Now, who is the mixed multitude? We've spoken about this, in prior classes, but the mixed multitude were the groups of very, very powerful people that Moses brought along with him in the Exodus, in the time of the Exodus. These people were magicians, witches, warlocks, officers, very, very high, powerful elites that were of Pharaoh in Egypt, who saw, hey, well, there's no hope where we are now, and so let's go to the side that's winning, which is Moses and his bunch. And they wanted to go with Moses. And according to what the Torah says, God told Moses, don't take them, don't do it. But Moses said, let me do it. They're going to see how amazing you are, God, and everything's going to be fine. Well, it wasn't fine. Maybe Moses should have listened to God, but we're not here to judge Moses. There's a reason for everything. But nevertheless, these were the people who on the trek to Mount Sinai through the desert, who were the complainers, who were wishing they would go back to Egypt, who were causing all the trouble, who instigated the building of the golden calf. They were the troublemakers. Again, please keep in mind they were very, very powerful people. And according to the Zohar, they did not undergo the purification in Egypt, but rather they were the people in power. They were the elites. Powerful people who did not undergo purification, nevertheless, very powerful souls. And according to the Zohar, again, they return generation after generation. I'm not going to go into it right now, but understand. Those who understand what I'm saying right now, you understand. But what does it say here? And this is an insight for all of us to learn from, where our head should be, how to open ourselves up for more energy. What should we be thinking about on a day-to-day basis? So it says, this was the same people, the mixed multitude who caused the same sin. They caused the same sin that Adam and Eve caused by not choosing the tree of life. And listen to this, and coincidentally, it's coming up this week in the reading that's coming up in the portion of the 10 Commandments, okay, as it's called. It says, let me read it. I have it queued up over here. I have the book open. So right after the giving of the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai, again, this is the story. Verse 15 in Exodus, chapter 20. Chapter 20 in Exodus, verse 15, immediately after the last commandment. וכל העם רואים את הקולות ואת הלפידים, and all the nation. Now, the Kabbalists explain every time the Bible uses the word nation and not the children of Israel, it's addressing who? The mixed multitude. Not the ones who were slaves in Egypt, but the elites that came out with Moses who were intermingled with the nation. Moses took them along. So it's not addressing the Israelites per se, it's addressing the mixed multitude. But again, it appears to be that they're all lumped in together, everyone together. They all saw the voices. They had consciousness, they saw the voices and the torches, with fire. And they heard the blowing of the shofar, and the mountain was smoking, very impressive looking, apparently. And they trembled when they saw it, and they kept their distance. Now that has ramifications, okay? They stayed away. They didn't want to come close. They stayed away at a distance. And you know what they said next? They said to Moses, verse 16, you speak to us. You speak to us, and we'll listen. But don't let God speak to us anymore, because if he does, we'll die. What kind of a thing is that? Moses, you speak to us. Don't let God speak to us anymore, because if he does, we'll die. Pay very close attention. How many of us really want to speak to God directly? I mean, they heard the first thing. What was the first thing? I am the Lord your God. What does that mean? Well, it means a lot of things. But one of the things that it means is there's only one force behind everything. One force behind everything, behind our health, behind our sustenance, behind our happiness, behind every single positive force in this world. Everything has one source. Your car doesn't give you energy. Your home doesn't give you energy. Your children don't give you the energy. Where does the energy come from? Oh, there's one source. The Creator's light. The light of the Creator is the only source of energy there is. It's one. It's not a million. But do we get energy through our children? Oh, yeah. Do we get energy through the things in our life that we enjoy? Yeah. Do we get energy through good food, a meal that I enjoy? Yes. But if you think it is unto itself, it's a problem. It's a disconnect. If we don't understand that what we are enjoying in anything, in everything, in any given moment, that this is the one force, this is the light of the Creator that I'm enjoying through whatever, through my glasses, through reading, through learning. What are we enjoying? What's the beneficence? What's the fulfillment? It's only one thing. It is the light of the Creator and how it's being revealed to me in this moment. That's it. And for everyone it's different. No two people alike. No two people are going to hear this talk and feel the same exact way. Some people are going to feel, oh my God. Some people are going to feel, yeah, that's nice. Maybe. Two people are going to eat food. I'm not a big fan of liver. Some people love liver. Because the light of the Creator is being revealed for whatever reason. We don't always know the reasons. That way for that person. I'm not trying to complicate things, okay? And life does not need to be complicated. So, if you like liver, you don't like liver, that's fine. But the point is what? What's behind everything is not the thing. You see, therefore, there's also one of the commandments is, the next one, you should have no other gods before me. Okay, that's the second one. Why does it have to follow the first one? Yeah, because if you really love pizza, do you worship pizza? That's kind of silly. But we do worship physical things in our life. In other words, those things tend to control us sometimes. Sometimes other people control us. We allow it. They don't really, but we give our power over to someone else, to their opinions about me. And then it affects my behavior. I want to say something, but I'm afraid that they won't think nice about me, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut now. Idol worship. You have another God. In that moment, you made them God over you. You see, our gods change from moment to moment, according to what our fears are, according to what our insecurities are, according to what our judgment is. Even us, we allow our own judgment to control us. We'll speak bad about other people, and we make our judgment our God, a negative part of us. That's not what we're supposed to do. It's not good. It's not healthy for us. It's a disconnect. So you see, the light force of the Creator wants to give us 100% of the time, give us light. And the Creator, there are rules. Not the Creator's rules, it's our rules. That's what Kabbalah explains. If I create a blockage, I created a blockage for myself. So if I have another God, I chose the energy of someone else, not the source. Not the source. I disconnected from the source, and now I connect to that. Now I connect to you and your opinion. Now I connect to whatever. I don't say to myself, wait a second, this is the Creator's light and how it's being revealed for me right now. So I lose it. That is the seed of all negativity. When we disconnect from the source, but the Creator wants to give us constantly, directly. But for that to happen, we are in control. We have to realize at any given moment, oh, wait a second, what's my source? What's my source? What's my source? Or not, we fall into the sin of Adam. More than that. He says, and he quotes what we just read from the Bible, from that verse 16. Don't let God speak with us, Moses, because we might die. Why would we die? Why would we die? What were they afraid of, really? I mean, you're going to talk to God and you're going to die? Well, B'Sitrei Torah, and he says, because if we will learn the real secrets, if we will really understand what's going on, we might die. And that's true. We all have that fear. Let's think about it for a second. When we really understand that the Creator's light is behind everything, and again, my example is always, do you really want to talk to God? If you have the opportunity to talk to God right now, He's going to tell you exactly what you need to do, exactly where you need to be, exactly what you need to have, exactly what you don't need and you should get rid of to remove the blockages in your life, but you don't see it right away. what they say, the expression is, the truth hurts. I mean, you want God to lie to you and to tell you what's not, not true? If you're going to talk to God, then you want the truth, don't you? Well, don't we? And I say we probably don't. Yeah, we want answers. We want answers to everything. Yeah, but we don't understand that everything is connected. In order for us to get an answer to this, we have to first understand that. And first we may have to do this. And everything is connected in our life. So can we really accept a truth if it means I might have to let go of something? Maybe I have to change where I live. I don't want to change where I live. I like my house. I like my home. I like my apartment. I like where I live. Don't tell me to change it, God. Yeah, but then you're going to miss the opportunities, right? Maybe. In other words, for us to truly be directed by the Creator's light, we have to be willing to talk to God. So, what's the reality? Well, does God talk directly to us? Generally not. I mean, He does, constantly. But are we able to hear? Are we able to hear God talking to us? That's the question. And we're afraid we'll die. And that's the sin of Adam. What do you mean we're afraid we'll die? Maybe I have to let go. Do you know? If you ever had to let go of something that you didn't want to, did it not feel like death for you? Death means death of what? Death of the physical connections that we have that we believe so strongly in. And each one of us has things, paradigms in the physical world, whether it's with our children, whether it's with our money, whether it's with other relationships, whether it's with our health, whatever it is, that we're afraid to change the paradigm because it feels like death. It's death to let go. To let go of control. Never mind, we're not in control anyway. If you want to understand the sin of Adam, that's the sin. In other words, when he says that Adam didn't want to study Kabbalah, he did not agree, then to be connected to the tree of life, it means they chose the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the tree of knowledge of good and evil is where we live. Well, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad because it goes up and down according to what's going on in nature, in the physical world. Our goal is to get out of that. That's what the wisdom of Kabbalah is to help us do. According to what the Zohar says, this is our goal, to get off of the tree of knowledge of good and evil and to reconnect ourselves to the tree of life. But it requires work. It requires, number one, desire. And it requires, again, under the understanding or the consciousness that everything comes only from one place, not a million places. All energy, all that we need comes from one place. And you can have every physical thing in the world. It's not about giving things up. But when you really come to the understanding that whatever you have, it's for us to use to bring more positive energy to the world. If we're able to do it in that way, then we can connect to every pleasure, every beneficence. I mean, that's the goal of the creation. We're not here to suffer. We are here to enjoy this world. We are here to have pleasure in this world. But if we think that that's what there is and that's why we're here and that's the purpose, then we disconnect. The only way to be connected to the reality of this world is to come to the consciousness that, wait a second, everything that I have, everything that I am, everything that we enjoy from is all about one thing. It's about the tree of life, and I desire to connect to the tree of life and not to connect with the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And this is how we overcome or overturn or correct, one of the ways, powerful way, to correct the consciousness of the sin of Adam. Wishing blessings to everybody. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I will see you on the next video. Be blessed, everyone. All the best.